Male character, and let's see what race. Stops on a 3. So there's the first set of 6, the second set of 6. Here's the third. Yep, you did it. You did it correctly, Toefield. All right, Hark. Will you please also give me a D6 roll? Are we going to get another gnome? 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. A half-elf. Okay. We have a half-elf. So not a small race for our fourth character here. The only tall party member. Yeah, we were close. Orcs make beautiful lovers. Next up, Stella. Will you please type exclamation point 1d6? Exclamation point 1d6 to find out what kind of a half elf we are. An aquatic elf descent. All right. Let's go here. So we have a male aquatic half elf. And of course, those are medium-sized creatures. Next up, let's find out our character's way of expressing himself through his alignment. Kevin, will you please give me a percentile roll for the alignment of our character? Oh, the background? Yeah, in fact, Toefield, most of our character creation is around the background, and we do that first when we get into the detail of the character. 65 is chaotic neutral. Now, at which level are we going to generate this character? Pex, or if you want me to say the full name, Pex Elroy, will you please type exclamation point 1D100 to determine at which level we're going to create this character? A 43 is going to give us level 9. A level 9 character. Now, that means that we have the possibility of getting 2 or even 3, if we get a fighter, ability score improvements. Pex is fine? All right. I will... If I mess up, you are welcome to correct me as well until I remember. So I'm going to need another percentile roll. Let's see. Cisair or Crisair? Crisair. Again, for new folks here, I'm trying to remember. Crisair, will you please type exclamation point 1D100 to determine if we're going to replace our stat bumps with feats? Is this Namor? We might be able to take inspiration. Stops on a 53. Nope. So we're going to take all ability score improvements. That's fine. Now, our backgrounds. Oh, we have so many backgrounds. So I'm going to need a D6 roll. Quingar, will you please give me a D6 roll in chat? Exclamation point 1D6. 5. All right. So this is the first set of 11. That's going to start the second. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So that's going to be the third. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, I should just be doing it on the 11s. So the fourth is going to be that. And so this is going to be... Right, yeah, so the first... The second. The third. The fourth. And the fifth. Here we go. And now I'm going to need a D12 roll. You're very welcome, Stella. I'm going to need a D12 roll. Is there someone out there that hasn't rolled yet and would like to? Bewitchcraft. Bewitchcraft, can you please type exclamation point 1D12 in chat? Stops on an 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, we have another Ravnica-inspired background, a Selesnya Initiate. All right. All right. This is our background. There's no special consideration in origin or something along those lines that requires a follow-up roll, but we will need personality traits and an ideal, a bond, and a flaw. And we'll get to that in a moment. I want to continue getting some outlines for the character here. So that's our background. Now, all right, if any of you have a guess, yep, this is class betting time, Hark. If any of you want to say, I called it, because we're going to roll a D12 in chat and find out which of the 12 classes. It's not 13 yet. I don't have the Eberron stuff uploaded in this. Let's see. Is Derek, are you still in chat? Quingar, we already have the race. It's a half-elf, not a mink. Hey, oh, Bubonic One is here? All right. Bubonic One, will you please roll a D12 in chat to determine our class? An 11. We have another Warlock. Hey. There we go. Now I need a D6 roll. Coffee Cat, are you still here? You're all right. Coffee Cat, give me a good old-fashioned D6 roll. You know, get that nice momentum, feel the corners in the palm of your hand. Skidoo! And what do we have? A 3. We have a Celestial Warlock and a Fiend Warlock in the party. And this whole adventure seems to be about intrigue and playing powers off of each other. Huh. Okay. Warlocks have a class feature. Which Pact? Which Pact are we going to take? Are we going to have 2 Connivers? One Celestial, one Fiend? That are operating through agents through a chain pact? Do we have a diabolical blade wielder? Or a someone who's been reading a little bit too much forbidden knowledge? Let's see, anyone else here that hasn't rolled yet and would like to? Reno, are you still here? Or Volvo? Mentally, hello. All right, Mentally. I need you to type exclamation point 1D3 in chat. 1D3, please. A blade. A blade lock. A fiendish blade lock. All right. Aquatic elf descent, half elf. Now let's determine how old. How old is our half elf? Do I have another volunteer? Someone who hasn't rolled yet. Otherwise, we'll go back and we'll have people roll for a second time. But I want to give others a chance. Phi Saris, are you still out there? Raz, are you still out there? Bueller? Well, maybe not. All right. Well, without hearing anyone else that has had a first round, let's have people go back for seconds. Chris Air, you are new here tonight, and so I would like you to get a second roll in. Will you please type exclamation point 1D100 to help us determine where in the life cycle our half elf is? $37. So we have, oh, not young adult, almost. So we have an adult half elf. And then I'll roll this one. We're going to open up our dice roller. Let me collapse this. Open up our dice roller. And this is going to be a 57-sided die. And I'm going to be adding 20 to it. You're fine. You're fine, Chris. We are 43 years old. All right, now let's get some height modifiers and weight modifiers and other things in here as well. Who else can get a second roll in here? Pex. Pex, will you please give me a D8 in chat? And then Stella, can I get a D4 in chat? And this is going to be our first height modifier and our first weight modifier. So we have a 1 and... and a 2. All right. Now, can I have Quingar? Can you please give me an 8? And Hark, can you give me a 4? Okay. Very good. Now, Toefield, are you still here? If you are, can you please type exclamation point 4D6? And from those, we're going to use the first 3 numbers for the ideal, bond, and flaw for our character. Well, thank you, Pex. You're going to see it all come together in front of you. Right now, we're making stars in the sky for a constellation, and we're going to fill it all in as part of the process. Toefield is going to give us a 1, and a 3 for our ideal, bond, and flaw. All right, no problem, Stella. And now we need 2 personality traits for our character. Kevin, will you please roll a D8 in chat? Stops on a 4. Now we need a second personality trait, And in chat, Bewitchcraft, if you're still around, can you roll a d8 in chat for me, please? Oh, we need the 1. It's 1d8. Lands on a 3. Excellent. So there's our personality traits, ideal, bond, and flaw. We have our height modifier of 7 inches, which we're going to add to the base height here of 4'9". So we have a 4'16" half-elf. We're going to take that same 7 and multiply it by the weight modifier, which is 4. So we're adding 28 pounds to the base weight of 110. So 138 pounds. And that's, you know, that doesn't count against encumbrance or anything. You know, this is, again, wakes up, he's in his skivvies, gets up, scratches his butt, eats breakfast. There you go. Like, this is just his natural weight. And you might wonder, you know, what does my character's weight really matter? Maybe not all the time. Though you might have a dungeon master that has a weight-based trap. Or a mechanic where, you know, 200 pounds of force needs to be on a stone button to open a door. Or if you're walking across some rotting scaffolding, the scaffolding might only hold 150 pounds. And so suddenly, if your gear weighs 12 pounds and you're 138, that puts you at the 150, and your character might initiate that event, or might not. So things like this could be important, and, you know, when it comes to, you know, filling out the character, these could be tiebreakers. These could be things to consider if they're exceptionally short or tall, or somewhere in between. Well, yes, at 5'4", I mean, now that's kind of towering. We have a 3'2", we have a 3 foot, and then we have a 3'5". And so at 5 feet 4 inches tall, he is, you know, he is the one casting the biggest shadow. Hello, the Spyro. Yeah, thick with 3 C's. Thick, 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 thick. Excellent. We have the outline of our character now. We've made the constellation in the infinite mists of all the combinations of all the sources we could draw from. Now let's coax that character forward. Let's discover who he is. Let's discover what kind of a person he is, how he makes decisions. I am not worried at all about our ability scores. This is like the last thing we do. Forget about it. Forget about it. We don't need these. These are just a way to help us play D&D, but they're not required for a storytelling game. These are actually going to be the results of everything else that we do. We're saving this for last. We are going to begin with the background of the character. So, we're going to open up. If any of you are playing along at home and you have the Guildmaster's Guide to Ravnica, crack open that book. And it's interesting that we have another, of all the backgrounds, we have 2 Ravnica guilds, which we may not be, we may not be using as on the plane of Ravnica. Though we're going to take the inspiration of this as an organization and what kind of a person might belong to that organization. And our character creation started with a Golgari agent, and it's going to end with a Selesnya initiate. Our skill proficiencies are going to be nature and persuasion. Our tool proficiencies, one type of artisan's tools or a musical instrument. So let's do this. Oh, all right, Chris Air, before you leave, can you give me a D4 roll in chat? If it's a 1 or a 2, we're going to take an artisan tool. If it's a 3 or a 4, we're going to take a musical instrument. Low, so we're going to go an artisan tool. Okay. And let's discover the artisan tools that we might as well randomly generate this too. We're going to go to Chapter 5 Equipment. Because, you know, what we do, what we make is an expression of who we are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. We have 17. The Sparrow, will you please type exclamation point to the letter D as in doggo 20, 2D20. We're going to use the first number if it's 17 or below. We'll use the second if it's above. And you're going to help determine the tool set this character uses. Oh, the Sparrow may not be here. All right, mentally, will you please type exclamation point 2D20? Stops on a 1. Alchemist supplies. Alright, this is something to consider for the character. He has proficiency with alchemist supplies. Our languages, choose one of Elvish, Loxodon, or Sylvan. So, as a half-elf, well, especially if we have a specific descent, I'm going to simply make this, I'm going to put it in brackets to show it's kind of a modal choice for us, that we can take Elvish, or Elven if you prefer, Loxodon, or an equivalent, because, again, this doesn't have to take place in Ravnica, or Sylvan. Then we're going to get an insignia of our guild. And Selesnya I'm going to put in brackets because we might replace that with, you know, some other organization that exists. We're going to have a healer's kit. We're going to get some robes. A set of common clothies. And a belt pouch that contains 5 GPs. Our background feature is Conclave's Shelter, or the equivalent of the Conclave, which we actually saw 2 Conclave Dryads pulled in the minis tonight. As a member of the Selesnya Conclave, you can count on your guildmates to provide shelter and aid. You and your companions can find a place to hide or rest in any Selesnya enclave in the city, unless you have proven to be a danger to them. The members of the Enclave will shield you from the law or anyone else searching for you, though they will not risk their lives in this effort. In addition, as a guild member, you can receive free healing and care at a Selesnya Enclave, though you must provide any material components needed for spells. That's pretty cool. It's kind of like Shelter of the Faithful. That is from the Acolyte background in the player's handbook. This is something to talk about with your Dungeon Master if you play with this supplement, that if the guilds or a similar structure exists, you would have an expanded spell list if you cast spells. Which would mean that as our Warlock, not only would our Fiend expand our spell list, so too would our would our Selesnya affiliation. So we would have a lot of spells to consider for the spells we can take as a Warlock. Your DM, though, might say, yeah, we're going to play with Ravnica stuff, but we're not going to allow for the guild spells. Okay, well, you can do that too. Now let's look a little bit further into who our character is. Stella says, hey, Maddie, I'm working on an idea. Need to go do some messing around for a bit, but I'll contact you soon. All right, Stella. Thank you for being a part of the program tonight. It's always a pleasure to have you. Where's my... Here we go. Cheers. Yeah, I still have some of my Christmas beers and ales. I didn't bring one with me here, but still a cheers to you all the same. Okay, our personality. We know some basic outline stuff. We have a rough draft, a silhouette in our minds of our character. It's time to bring that silhouette to life. Our personality traits, I'm going to boop, 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 move this over so we can read this more easily. Personality trait number 4. I'm always straining to peer into another reality that seems to be just beyond my senses. Maybe that's how we found our Fiend. Number 3. I would rather make a friend than thwart an enemy. I would rather make a friend than thwart an enemy. We have these skills. We're maybe more of a lover than a fighter. Not that we can't fight or won't fight. We don't look for fights. We look for friends. And I love the fact that we have this fiendish pact, or this fiendish patron, which would, in many instances, as a dungeon master, if I was running this, I would be that little devil on the shoulder trying to coerce this person into making other decisions, into empowering him to step up, to be more aggressive, to assert himself. Be interesting, huh? Anyway, what is his ideal? His ideal is number 1, guild. My guild is all that really matters. In Ravnica, this would be very pro-Selesnya. In the setting agnostic adventure that we're making, again, this is whatever organization that we want him to be a part of. It could be theistic, it could be atheistic, it could be societal, it could be economic, it could be whatever. But he sees his guild first. Guild first. His bond. Bubonic says it's 3:30 and I gotta go get my birthday and Christmas present in the morning. See y'all when... Oh, yeah. Bubonic, yeah, so we'll see you on Tuesday for our roleplay game. For any of you that are new, I do not normally broadcast Sunday night or Monday night, and when we come back on Tuesday, I play an ongoing campaign with members of the community here, and then after that on Wednesday through Saturday begins the workshop session. And for this coming week, we're going to take the 4 characters that we've made, and we're going to use that to go through DM exercises in map making NPCs, villains, and it's all going to come together on Saturday when we make an adventure that you can run your character your own tabletop if you wish. Bonds. Bond number 1. I would give my life in the defense of the small enclave where I first encountered, and in this case, leader. As we're probably not playing in Ravnica, so specifically the character Matt Selesnya would not exist, but this could just be, we could put leader in brackets. And what is our character's flaw? We are all flawed creatures. And if you don't believe that you are, that's your flaw. Ta-da! I enjoy comfort and quiet, and prefer to avoid extra effort. We're laid back. We're hard workers when we have to be, but we'd prefer to socialize. We'd prefer to, to carouse and to have fun, to play games. We enjoy being solitary, if at all possible. Which is beautiful, because these two characters are an interesting reflection of each other. And will be very cool to put together in a party. Now we know more about our character. Now we know who he is. We can imagine, how would he make a decision in a roleplay circumstance? What was his life up to this point that we met him? Recreationally, he wants to peer into some other reality. He wants to, expand his senses like a new age religion. I mean, in a sense, he might even be, a stereotype of what we might consider to be a hippie. New age religions. Look, dude, man, looking into the veil beyond. We got to see what's below the materialistic. This is all just a skin. But over what? Not just bones. No, man, I'm talking metaphysical bones. I'd rather make friends. Make love, not war. We'll defend ourselves if we have to. We'll step up. But we don't seek conflict. We want peace. And the people who've given me this lifestyle, and however we want to manifest this guild in our DM exercises next week, we want the, maybe it is a commune. It's a commune of some kind. It's a certain set of rules to live here, do whatever. You're not allowed to wear clothes with buttons. I think that was like a shaker. Was it Shakers or Quakers? When forming little like religious or societal communes to live kind of in a utopian enclave in the new world here in the U.S. You have like nudist colonies, right? People who just live without clothes, and that's normalized. Or it's, I don't know, just a group of people who get together because they all have a particular faith, or they're all vegetarians, or they're all trying to recover. The guild could be kind of like an Alcoholics Anonymous group, just with something that could be societal, or it could be, it could be an anger management group therapy. The Selesnya initiate could very well just be an anger management group that he owes this new life that he's gotten, because maybe he was violent. Maybe that devil has been with him for a while, and he's heard those whispers, and he just wanted to find peace because it got him in trouble. But that devil's always there, and so he tries to make better decisions. I'd give my life in the defense of the small enclave where I first met the leader of this group. It could even be a cult. It could be a cult. For good or bad. I enjoy comfort and quiet, and I prefer to avoid extra effort. Dude, just be at peace, bro. Just be. We're human beings, man. We're not human doings. We just gotta be. Now, he doesn't have to be the man, dude, hippie if you don't want him to be. I speak with these, with these kind of accents or stereotypes in mind to at least get our imaginations going in some direction in how we want to make this character. And, you know, perhaps by having this aquatic elf, you know, this this splash of aquatic elf, that could culturally lead him in a particular direction. Maybe he feels more calm. He feels more fluid. He goes with the flow because it's intrinsic to him. Now, as a part of this, and we'll do it because we're here. And of course, Xanathar's Guide to Everything offers some cool stuff for generic character creation. You do get these contacts that it asks to roll twice on the contacts table for guild contacts or organization, in this case, kind of generic organization, and once on the non-contact. And so let's do this. Let's put a guild ally, a guild rival, and a non-guild contact of some kind. Pex, will you please give me a D8 roll in chat for our ally? A 7. So our ally in whatever our commune or our group or whatever is, I had a romance with a well-known Selesnya healer. I'm going to put guild in brackets. You know, so maybe he found a partner of some kind that, you know, brought us into the fold. And we owe our new, like, we've enhanced our calm. We've enhanced our calm because of this, this maybe even former lover or current. I don't know. Now, someone who's a rival in our group. Just because we all might have similarities doesn't mean that there aren't people who might gossip about us. I mean, look, if any of you have been in a social group, it could be a church group, and you know there's gossip that goes on in a church group. You know, let alone a secular group or a civic group that promotes, you know, peace and unity among a society. You know there's triflers. You know there's jockeying for position and he said, she said stuff going on. So let's find out who is our rival. Not necessarily an enemy, but a rival in some capacity. Kevin, will you please give me a D8 roll for our rival? Exactly, Hark. A 6. All right, so this is one of my parents is a votary tasked with protecting the temple garden, or the equivalent. It doesn't have to be exactly as Ravnica presents it. Tasked with protecting the temple gardens at the, guild hall. I guess we'll put in brackets. All right, so we have a rival that's a parent. Now, does this mean that there's maybe a sour relationship with this parent? Does the parent see that we're not taking our duties seriously? Is it a lifestyle conflict? Do we have a parent that doesn't approve of our lover, our former or current lover? Do we have a parent who is a rival in a positive, is always pushing us, and maybe our character, even though he's an adult, doesn't understand just what that push means, and maybe views it as something that is more negative than what it is truly meant to be. Oh my goodness, Misfit, you almost have your super spicy salsa next to your name. Enjoy your last month of the cold pitcher of iced tea next to your name before you get to the red hot stuff. And Misfit, welcome. It's good to have you here. In fact, Misfit, you just bopped in. I'm going to give you some homework, and that's what you get. Can you please roll a D10 in chat for me, Misfit? Exclamation point 1D10. So this is someone that we have a contact with that's outside of our organization. Misfit, did you just pop in to re-up your sub and dash away? I appreciate it, but you're leaving me hanging. Ah, there we go. Thank you. 2. A good friend, eager for action, left the, I guess we'll just, again, in brackets, left the guild, and joined the other guild. Ooh. I wonder if this wouldn't provide a link between this character. I mean, this says specifically Boros. Doesn't have to be. I don't know if we have a looking for action style character here. This could be a link to one of the other players. Well, the player characters. Or in the upcoming DM workshop next week, this is going to be a springboard to create a very interesting NPC. I'll like it. All right, no problem, Misfit. Oh, everyone has to reconnect. Hopefully I'm not losing my connection with y'all. So here we have a developed character, and look, we don't have any numbers. There are no numbers here. But already, do you feel comfortable and more familiar with the character? I would argue we have a character right now. We don't have the minutia. That's fine. But we have our character. We can imagine how he acts, how he thinks. You know, within these parameters, you know, where does he bounce around? And sometimes he might go out of the parameters. Many times he'll just be inside and he will hit different ones. There's so much content here, not just for the player, but for the dungeon master. It's amazing, and this is why I love the background system. Gaming Exports, welcome, hello. Gaming Exports, have we talked before? Have you been in chat before? I don't. Your name seems familiar, so pardon me if we have and I forgot. Okay, I thought so. It just seemed in the back of my mind that you had talked in chat before, like we talked about it a little bit, and okay, well I'm glad I'm not I'm not going crazy. I do my best to remember as many of you as possible in this community. Excellent. Now now let's discover our race and our class and our subclass and all this. Even without those, we have a character. Don't doubt that. We're just going to further define. We know who he is. Now let's find out what he is. Does that make sense? We have the being. Let's find out the doing. Now, we are a half-elf, but specifically because we had all the sources open, we are an aquatic half-elf. And I believe the minutia of half-elves. Hey, TJ Fate, good to see you. How's your summer going? I hope that you're avoiding being on fire. Is that in Xanathar's? I haven't specifically messed with the... No, Xanathar's doesn't have the... That's names. Yeah, it doesn't have that. You're not on fire. That's a good start, TJ. But let's build from there, shall we? The half-elves are in... Yeah, maybe in Mordenkainen's, because they talk about the elves in detail there. Oh, you know what? I was running into this with a Ghostwise halfling before. Let's check real quick. Elf subraces and tables. Let's check 61. Eladrin. Sea elf. Elf tables. Drow stuff. No. Yeah, it might be... It comes back to the Sword Coast Adventurers Guide. You know, it's not the thickest of books. It is not the thickest of books, but there's a ton of content in here that it makes it a good supplement. I would, you know, if you're like, well, should I get Skag or Xanathars? Get Xanathars first. This isn't a bad one to have, though. So yes, half-elf variants. Here we go. So a half-elf aquatic heritage can choose a swimming speed of 30 feet. So some half-elves in Faerun, it doesn't have to be Faerun, just like it doesn't have to be Ravnica, have a racial trait in place of the skill versatility trait. If your DM allows it, your half-elf character can forego skill versatility and instead take the elf trait Keen Senses, or a trait based on your elf parentage. And I don't know why we'd take Keen Senses, because that's perception, and we could pick up perception with skill versatility. But if we want to lean into aquatic, then we can have a swimming speed of 30 feet, so I think we'll take that instead of our skill versatility. So I'm going to make a note here. As half-elves have a 30 run, we're going to have a 30 swim, but that's still only going to give us a 15 climb and a 0 fly. Other than that, we're going to be sticking to half-elf out of the player's handbook. And so let's go to that now. Charisma increases by 2. And then 2 other ability scores are going to increase by 1. I don't know what that's going to be. If we are a Blade Master, we're someone who's in the mix. If we're going to go with that whole anger management route, perhaps, maybe he was more burly. Maybe he was a brawler. He got into a bunch of scraps as a kid before he found this way to mellow out. We can move it around. Let's put it in strength and con right now, just to float them somewhere. We do have 60 feet of dark vision. We do have Fey ancestry, so we have advantages on being charmed. And magic can't put us to sleep. So instead of you gain proficiency in 2 skills of your choice, this is replaced by the swim speed. And then languages, we have Common, Elvish, and an extra of our choice. Common, Elvish, and something else. Ta-da! You see why I don't want to start with this? What does this tell us? It could be a reference point, I guess. But did this really reveal a ton more about the character? A lot of this are just some mechanical benefits that we can take into for consideration, but why start with this when we should start with who our character is first? Common, Elvish, and Italian. Are the digital manuals updated often? If you have them, if you access them through D&D Beyond, if there's errata, I do believe that is automatically included. Like that digital access to that content is updated. Otherwise, Pex, there is a free errata document you can download from Wizards of the Coast that you can use to supplement your books. Alrighty, now we're going to make a Warlock. Ooh, spooky. A level 9 Warlock to be precise, which means we're concerned with just this stuff. We have a +4 proficiency bonus. We're going to know 3 cantrips, so I'm just going to put placeholders because I'm not too worried about the spells that he's taking right now. We're going to have 2 5th level spell slots, and that's it, because that's how Warlocks roll, everyone. And 5 invocations. So at level 2, we're gonna get 2. Then we're gonna get our 3rd at 5th level. We're going to get our 4th at 7th level. And we're going to get our 5th at 9th level. And we're 9th level. Ta-da! We are a D8 hit die class, and as we're level 9, what do you know? We have 9 D8 that we can use during rests to recover hit points without the need for spells, potions, etc. We are proficient with light armor. We are proficient with simple weapons. We have no tool proficiencies. By being a warlock, of course, we are good with alchemical supplies, and so we can make some interesting concoctions with our alchemical things. Our saving throw proficiencies are going to be wisdom and charisma. Then we're going to get to choose 2 skills from Arcana, Deception, History, Intimidation, Investigation, Nature, and Religion. Pex, you say thank you. Thank you for what? Let's take a look at the skills that this character would have because of his lifestyle, how he exists. I'm always straining to peer into another reality that seems to be just beyond my senses. That could very well be Arcana. I would rather make a friend than thwart an enemy. You know, for as charismatic as they are, you have Deception. You could talk to your DM and say, can I replace Deception with Persuasion? That being said, we already got Persuasion from our background, so it'd be a moot point for this character. Though, have these conversations with your Dungeon Master. My guild is what matters. My guild is what matters. I would give my life in the defense of the small enclave where I met the leader. I enjoy comfort and quiet, and prefer to avoid extra effort. We'll have the other children in town whitewash our fence for us. So I think Arcana for sure. And what would fit? Probably also Deception. He might lie to get out of work, and this deception could reflect the fact that with this pact, with this fiend, he might always have that little devil on his shoulder. Yeah, it's a little lie. It's not going to hurt anyone. It's okay to tell a lie. It's okay. Just, things have got to be cool, right? Make the situation cool. And so it's not that we're practiced deceivers and that we're trying to trick everyone all the time. If we choose this skill, it could be the extension of these parts of his personality and how he lives his life. Oh, yeah, you're very welcome, Pex. Now, we could, instead, if you don't like Deception, I think Religion could mean a lot as well. Especially, you know, if you or anyone you know has ever been in like a 12-step program of sorts, many times they urge participants, it doesn't have to be a particular religion, but find a philosophy. Find something to help you be a better person and to help hold you accountable outside of the group or the law. Find inspiration. I could make the case for Deception. I could make it for Religion. I kind of like Religion in this case. If you let me know what you think. This isn't my character. This is our character. But I think that could work as well. Right. We are going to get some starting equipment, but honestly, for these characters, let's just put a catch-all of strength-based weapons and dex-based weapons. We're going to have a component pouch or an arcane focus, and that could very well end up being our guild insignia. Though, you know, we do have alchemical supplies. So, you know, we could have an arcane focus, but maybe he'd actually carry the component pouch because he likes having all of the different secret herbs and spices at his disposal. A scholar's pack or a dungeoneer's pack, I think he would love to write and draw and to make notes. So a scholar's pack would be the way forward for him. He's going to get some leather armor. A simple weapon and 2 daggers, but that's going to be in the catch-all above. I'm not worried about magic just yet. After ability scores, that's like the last thing that we throw on there. Invocations, we're going to get to it in a little bit. I want to find out more about who our character is, and similar to how we discovered the skills for proficiency bonuses, we're going to do the same thing with our invocations. So our Pact boon of the blade, you can use your action to create a Pact weapon in your empty hand. You can choose the form that this melee weapon takes each time you create it. You are proficient with it while you wield it. This weapon counts as magical for the purposes of overcoming resistance and immunity to non-magical attacks and damage. There's more here. You can read it in an SRD, or if you have your player's handbook, physical or digital, it's right here. But just know that he can summon a weapon of his choice with which he has proficiency and goes from there. So that's our Blade Pact. We're not high enough for Mystic Arcanum, and we don't have Eldritch Master to worry about, so hey, we're finished building our Warlock. Now, the subclass of which patron we follow, well, that is the Fiend. This is going to have an expanded spell list. Things to consider if we're going to go through and choose his spells. But in particular, I'm looking for what his archetype, what his subclass is going to be giving him. The Dark One's Blessing. Starting at first level, when you reduce a hostile creature to 0 hit points, you gain temporary hit points equal to your charisma modifier. Fiend is good for, an attacker. We also have the Dark One's Own Luck. When you make an ability check or a saving throw, you can use this feature to add a D10 to your roll. And we're not high enough. We're just underneath level 10 for Fiendish Resilience. So we're not going to worry about Hurl Through Hell or Fiendish Resilience. This is what we have at level 9. Coffee Cat presents. You're going to go to bed. Have a great night. Thank you for joining us. And when I'm done here, I'm going to take a look at your cosplay. I really look forward to seeing it. You like religion more than deception, Kevin? I do too. For him, I can see deception. I think religion would be a better fit. And West River Rat, thank you for continuing your gift sub from Coffee Cat. That's really awesome. So Coffee Cat, thank you for the original gift sub. West River Rat, thank you for making the conscious decision that this channel is worth your time and therefore your money. And look, for all of you out there, I will strive to always be worth at least $5 to you a month. For the content, the community, the communication that you get here, I will be at least $5 per month worth it to you. But if you do not subscribe, don't think I don't hold it against you. I understand. We have bills to pay. You know, you need gas for your car or, bus fare. You might need new shoes. There are other things in life you need more than to throw 5 at a streamer. But for all of you that have 5 or more, I appreciate it. And for those who are going to win boxes of minis during the monthly miniature raffle, they're going to thank you as well, because the number of boxes that are given out to community members is dependent on how many people subscribe to the channel. Okay. Now that we have our character, let's worry about the numbers. Because we can make a much better informed decision about our numbers because we know rock solid who our character is. How does he behave? What does he do? Patriots get to go home. It's a good day. Oh, is this... oh, this is January. Are we in Super Bowl playoffs now? Or... I'm sorry, sports ball is not my forte. It is. Okay. Well, so for those of you who mingle with the jocks, not just the nerds, I appreciate the information. It gives me something to talk about with people at the store and other communities too. I learn from you all. Super Bowl is usually in February, if I recall correctly. Fernleaf, hello. It is a good day for you for the same reason or for different reasons? In either case, I'm glad you're having a good day. Now, I wonder if we don't actually have a low charisma Warlock here. You know, I don't think he's a maximum charisma. You know, when I say low, like, it could be low to mid. But I don't know if we really have a Warlock that would be super charismatic. Not like the other one is. He is social. But here we have someone who kind of, you know, maybe grew up scrappy, had some anger problems, and ended up joining this guild or program and mellowed out some. What if we put the 15 in strength? What if we put the 14? Whoops. He could have some charisma. 14 in charisma. He's more physical. You know what? No, I'm taking that back. I'm taking that back. He doesn't want to be a bruiser anymore, but he is. I think we have a lovable lug. Let's give him a 14 constitution. Or let's go a 14 dex and a 13 constitution. 15, 14, 13, 12. 10 wisdom, and an 8 intelligence. And this is why I say it, and I hope, I don't know, if any of you out there are like, what are you doing? You have 3 proficiencies in a dump stat. Ugh! Literally unplayable. I'm going to go blog about this. That's a caricature, and I'm not painting any of you with it. It is fine. It is absolutely fine to be proficient in skills where you have a dump stat. What that means is you're better at selective things instead of just being universally good. Even with the -1 int, if we don't bump it up, this is still going to give us a +3 to these. Which is even going to be far and above, like, our wisdom's just going to be, look, our saving throw is going to be a 4. Everything else is going to be 0s. Even though this is the dump stat, right? I think it's going to be fine. Now, if this is our challenge, if we keep him at a 14 charisma, it would impact perhaps some of the spells he takes. And I think that's going to be fine for this character. And I'll show you what we mean when we get to that point. But why don't we challenge ourselves? No Eldritch Blast, and let's have no higher than this 14 charisma. What do you say? Now, if you don't think that fits this character, you know, the character whose personality, you know, that we have with our allies, and you know, in the way that we dedicated ourselves, his lifestyle that has built up to be this brawny fighter, but he doesn't like fighting. He'll fight if he has to, and he'll probably be vicious if he does fight, which is why his strength is going to be much greater than his charisma. In fact, you know, we bought some extra hit points with our constitution. We could even give him some armor with an invocation. I think, because we're going to get an ASI at level 4 and an ASI at level 8. Are you ready? Let's be mad lads together. Come on. Let's bring it in. 20 strength. This is what we're going to sit on. Now, of course, this character is going to get another bump elsewhere. And ultimately, if we wanted to bring Charisma up to 20, well, you get your level 12, your level 16, and your 19. You could max out Charisma. I don't think he needs to go beyond 14 Charisma. Honestly, we could probably even lower that down and swap it out and make Wisdom higher. Or in fact, you know what? You know what we're going to do? Int isn't going to be his dump stat, right? This was a 12 before that 2. This is going to be a 10. This was his 8 plus his 2. His int, or maybe we can give his wisdom a 12 and his intelligence is a 10. There, I did it. What are you going to do about it? Huh? What are you going to do? A dump stat Warlock who's going to be functional and is going to be super fun to play. I'm not apologizing. We're doing this here and now. You're seeing it happen in front of you live. And he will be functional. All right, that's going to give us 5, 2, 2, 0, 1, 0. Five, 5, 2, 2, 2. You were thinking the same thing too, Hark. There. I hope I haven't lost any of you as followers or subscribers because of this. We're doing this. We're going to make it happen. Have you ever had a dump stat Charisma Warlock? Have you ever thought about it? Have you ever ran one? And again, we're not going to take Eldritch Blast either. We are not. All right, passive perceptions in 11. Lost to the void. Oh no, we've lost Kevin. Our passive perception is 11. It's 10 plus your perception modifier. That's your natural awareness. Though our blade lock here is kind of his mind is elsewhere many times. His armor class, let's see if he's wearing his leather armor. That would be 11 plus his dexterity, so that'd be 13 in leather. If he takes that invocation with shadow armor, that would actually be a 15 because of the mage armor. But, it is what it is. Initiative's a dex check, so it's a +2. Hit points. At level 1, you get your maximum hit points based on your hit die, which is 8. For his remaining 8 of his 9 levels, he gets half +1. Then for all of his levels, all 9 of them, he gets bonus hit points equal to his constitution modifier. He's a big boy. He is thick and meaty. He's a ragu. He has 66 hit points at level 9. If he's attacking with a strength-based weapon with which he has proficiency, which his Pact weapon will, he is attacking at a +9. Who needs Eldritch Blast when you can lay into people with a fiendish greatsword and roll 2d6s plus 5? And if we're attacking with dex-based weapons, that is a +6. If we're attacking with our spells, which we're probably not going to have many, if any, that's a +4. And to resist their effects, you need a 13 or better. Not the best, but that's fine because that's not the build we're going for, everyone. That is not. Now, what kind of invocations would he get? There are 2 that can come to mind. There are 2 for blade locks here. You have Life Drinker, but he's not 12th level. So he'll probably take Thirsting Blade. A lot of people say that this is an invocation tax. That, you should get this anyway for having, to keep up because you are probably going to be more melee. I I can agree and disagree, depending on the day. I think he would have Thirsting Blade. He doesn't want to use it, but if he does, he's going to hit hard because he does want to defend. He does want to defend people. Because he is going to be like a frontliner as well. He's a tough boy, a big boy. I think Armor of Shadows would be something he'd have as well. He could probably reinforce himself with False Life, with Fiendish Vigor. What else would he do here? He wants to peer into another reality. I would rather make a friend than thwart an enemy. My guild is all that really matters. I give my life in the defense of the small enclave, and I enjoy comfort and quiet and prefer to avoid extra effort. You know, Whispers of the Grave would be interesting because he can speak to the dead. He can make friends such as you can with Speak with Dead. This would also be, you know, minimal effort, but this could be a reflection of he's straining to peer into another reality as well. So maybe Whispers of the Grave would be something that he has. And you know, Beast Speech may be a good one for him as well. So he can speak with animals. So he can learn from them. He can learn of this other world. That could be a good one. Devil's Sight could be interesting as well. Which would give him, you know, I just want to see what's out there. You know, so darkness doesn't necessarily mean anything to him. You know, his eyes are clear, man. You know, I enjoy comfort and quiet. So he can just relax in dark places. He can enjoy. Is there anything that could help him make friends as well? Or to defend his guild? Gaze of Two Minds might be a good one for him as well. Hey, that's up for us to decide, Kevin. That could even play into the parent who's a part of this this commune as well. Is the parent the elf side or the human side? If that's even how we want to mix it. It could be elf and orc. It could be elf and something else. What would open his mind to other worlds? Speaking to beasts could help do that. I don't know. I think being another person, the gaze of two minds, having this kind of out of body experience, because we've brought up it's kind of the trope of new age, of new ageness. I think that one might be a good one, because he wants to make friends. And especially if you make a lot of friends, that means you have more willing participants who are going to carry your senses forward. So let's give... I like that. Of course, I'm open to suggestion, but let's give him Gaze of Two Minds. Mr. Wolfie! Well, Happy New Year to you, sir. It's great to see you. I love that emote. And he has earned himself a name, is no longer a set of stats. Because, ladies and gentlemen, I mean, minus some details here. We are a Warlock. And I'm sorry, we needed a 12, not a 13. We also have 2 5th level spell slots. And we know 3 cantrips. 1, 2, 3. You'll see that we get spells known at level 1 is 2. And you see how we get 1 per, and you can take, you can take spells where you have spell slots. 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Now, you can also, if you want, at 7th level, you can take a 4th level spell slot. If you want... Oh, wait, I'm sorry. I have 2 at 4th. What am I doing? You can always go back if you want to take an extra 1st level spell. You're welcome to. And when you level up, in addition to getting the new spell, you can swap out an old spell. As long as you can cast into the slot that you have open, there you go. So this is what the layout would look like. And what we'll do is, I'm going to get up and we have a finished character, essentially. But what we can do is go through and talk about what a Warlock like this would have for spells. And detail it. Because there's not as many as the other one. Plus, this is an interesting build because we're not going to be attacking with our spells or causing saves. This is going to be buffs and utilities, and you'll see what I'm talking about. For the most part, Wolfie, yeah, they were nice, thank you. All right, so Wolfie, I know you're just here. I got to get up, and I'm going to let's take like a 5-minute break, use the restroom, get a drink or a snack, and when we come back, we'll finish out the rest of the workshop with a brief little what spells would we take mini episode, and go from there.